Peace. We're here. We're over here. Just waiting for a few more. Islam to all the Moors. Islam to all the newly awakened Moors. All the Muslim daughters and sons, or the modern Europeans who also support this. And again, if there's anybody on there from before, somebody had a question about getting this information to their family or something. Just wait a little bit, see what's good. What's good, Morris? How was your Wednesday? It's all about learning. That's what I'm.
And we're back.
Yes, we're back.
We're back again for the part two of this. Part two of my man Cujo the Moor. We got this. Ready to answer some questions. Please go ahead and type in your questions so we can get some feedback from Cujo. I just want to again thank Cujo for this time, because I mean, you are looking at greatness in the flesh. I mean,
likewise.
10 years of studying and just giving us this information as simple as possible. I've spoken to some Moors and it gets real complicated real fast. But Cujo has a way of just explaining it just to make it easy for anyone to understand. So ask your questions, get involved in the conversation, man.
Oh, yeah, let me hit you with one. So
yes,
how do you get into this? How do you get into this? Since you're on our channel now,
yeah, I'm in your house now. Okay.
How do you get into this information, and a little background on yourself? Because I know some Moors were asking, who's this? How come he found Cujo or whatever? So
well, it was about probably 15 or so years ago. I was flipping through YouTube one day and I found this guy called Bobby Hemmett. And when I found Bobby, I was like, this is something that resonates with me. I mean, because he just turned my whole world upside down. I mean, I went into I had a low moment at that time, because he told me that everything that I've ever learned was a lie. Right? So I was a big part of religion. I was, I went to seminary school to become a pastor, and I dropped out. Bobby here made me drop out. I mean, he had me dropping out because he was giving so much facts. I just couldn't deny them. And and I went and I picked up one of my first books. I have it right here. I want to show it to you guys.
Please do.
Was one of my first books was Where is this? This was one of my first books, y'all.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's one.
Yeah,
Alvin Morrow.
that was one of my first
Alvin,
books.
brother Alvin Morrow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a real one. Yeah.
So and then I got some of these, and then I got more. I had these books. They look new only because I keep my books. But and then I went to this one right here.
Mhm. Yeah, classic.
Yeah. And then this one, and then this one hit me right here. You know, Dr. Hillard, he's real nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I started reading books like that. But I didn't have anybody that I could bounce ideas off of, because every time I tried to engage somebody in a conversation like that, they're like, "Hey, where you getting this stuff from?" And I'm like, don't worry about it. Forget it. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking out loud. Don't worry about it. And so everybody started to see, like I was part of a big pastor community, religious community. I was I was what you call the favorite son. And everyone thought something was wrong with me, that something happened to me. Something did happen.
The
And
devil.
and then I went to this and then I started on this the conscious community, start trying to find people on different platforms and stuff like that, trying to find out, okay, if Bobby Hemmett, I mean, I used to listen to Bobby Hemmett from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m, like 24 hours a day, digesting his system, digesting it, finding books. I got books from Bobby Hemmett suggested that you can't even get those books today.
Yep.
Those books are on Amazon for like $900, $500 because they want to keep us from those books. And so one day, and this is the crux of the story. So one day I was I went to a barbershop. First time at the barbershop, and I met Keith.
KG.
Yeah, I met KG, LB. And so I was just hanging around there, and then years went by, and he started to play Bobby Hemmett, and he had the little television set, and he would play recordings from Bobby Hemmett. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just ask him. And so we started talking, and he's the one that got me involved in the conscious community. He's the one that introduced me to Taj. We have gone to they had an event here in Maryland. I'm in the DC part, but it was Virginia. And I started to see these brothers, I mean, just very well educated, I mean, scholars, man. And I was a scholar myself, because I was reading when you start grooming yourself to be a pastor, you start reading a lot of different books that regular people don't read. And so I was reading those books and more. And that's why I fell into it, because when I started reading certain books, even the books that they subscribed for me to read, I was getting some information that didn't fit that religious box. And so that's why I started to look outside the box and be like, okay, what's going on here? Because, you know, one-on-one doesn't make two here for some reason. It's making three, it's making four, but it doesn't make two. And so hanging around Keith and some of those other guys, and watching Taj. You know, Taj is the most brilliant man that I've ever met in my life. I mean, even in living color, in person, I mean, he could spit knowledge to you in just seconds, and not make you feel that you know you don't know or whatever, because he understands where you're at, and he's trying to help you. And that's the
Right.
same vibe that I get from you, Cujo, and that's why I like talking to you, and that's my story.
That's the master teacher. That's where I get it from.
Yeah, very humble dude. I mean, you know, I used to watch Taj like all the time because I was just intrigued by his wisdom, because we always talk about Einstein, how brilliant Einstein was. But when I met Taj, I was like, man, I wish somebody like Oprah would talk to this dude to find out that this man's intellect is like way out there. I mean, he can remember documents that, you know, the people that wrote the documents forgot it, and Taj will remember what's on that document. And so it was just, I mean, he just always, I mean, I always will see him as a mentor. As the whole Moorish community. That's one of the things that I love about the Moorish community, is because the Moors study. They study to show themselves approved. You know, that know thyself is just not a words on the on top of a building, on top of a door frame. It's something that they embody, and that's good stuff, man.
Yeah. Now, somebody had before we left your live, there was a question with regard to getting this information to their family or something like that. I think that was the last thing I saw before it went down. One of the things that will allow you to keep your sanity with regard to this information is don't try to put it on people. Don't try to force feed this, because we know, you know, the whole thing with, like you're saying, we study and we know this and we know that and we got this wealth of information. Well, some people aren't ready for truth. So when they're ready for truth, they'll come get it. You know, or like we were saying earlier, once you be what you know, then people would be inspired to know what you know, because you're being it. You know, it's not just something that's being talked about. So don't you know, because we have this thing where we get into this level of information and then nobody else is on it, so we abandon everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We go into the family stuff because, you know, they're Christian and I'm a Moor and it's not the same and all that stuff, when it doesn't even have to go there. You know, still go enjoy the meal and all that. And if people ask questions, you present what you know. Other than
I
that,
think that's real important, Cujo. And I'm glad that you're the type of teacher that exemplifies that, because and illustrates that and demonstrates that, because you know you have some people that they get into the outward appearance of things. Like if it's Afrocentric, they start wearing dashikis and start wearing all these colors and everything, and start claiming those things. But what I like about how you present the information is that it starts with the mind. It isn't a fez, it isn't a star. It's you. It's you. Because because if anybody understands anything about the Moorish codes or what Noble Drew Ali stood for, is that those symbols are symbols of yourself. They're not just things. They're you. Like you are the nationality. You are the Moor. You are the landmass. You are it. It doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't have anything to per se. Before you start wearing the fez and having the star and having all these privileges of nationality or everything, you have to change. And that's what I like about your teaching, because you don't go into all that stuff. You see I'm wearing the fez, that means I'm a Moor. You know, I got the star right there. You know, you go into the mindset, and that's what I appreciate, and that's what I want the people to understand, that this thing isn't about showing the world, you know, who you are. It's about embodying that and letting the world come to you and ask you what you're all about.
Right. Right. And you know, with even with what you were saying, like, you know, I can say it would be you know, off to make people think that this is something external. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't the purpose isn't being served if this is presented from the perspective of it's external. Because the lesson is that all is mind. So if all is mental, then it has to start there. It can't start anywhere else.
Right.
As soon as you get people telling me it starts with papers, or it starts with cards, or it starts with fill out this thing like this, and type of extension of yourself, they're probably trying to play you, or they're about to go in your
That's a
pockets.
great stay right there, Cujo. I want you to dive deeper into that, because there's a lot of people that got caught up in that because brothers were selling this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How do you what are Moors doing to kind of stop that type of betrayal to people? And if is that something that some people are doing it right? I just want to understand those dynamics.
Well, people who are doing that are they have no regard for righteousness. As soon as they go down that path, because you have to have malicious intent to sell this to somebody like that, right? Like it's not. That's just what it is. This is why we stress that it's about studying. It's about having the information, not just so that you can know it, but so that you can also know others. Because the more that you know would give you a more firm foundation for when you have to deal with, quote unquote, the challenges that come from people, you know, testing this to see, right? So, you know, like we were talking about before, the people who are most victim to that are the people who come into this wanting something.
Yeah.
Those are the people who are most victim to the packet sellers, right? Because they think that, once again, this is nothing internal. This is some external thing I'm going to get from this guy because he has a purple fez. So that means he must be, you know, the head of the whatever. And we're going to use what he got in order to be free, when he just enslaved you just for the simple fact that he sold the thing to you. You know what I mean? Um, um, the studying is how you avoid those people, because there's not really anything that we can do other than make it known that those guys are doing whatever. You know what I mean? But we can't do anything really. You know, we don't got no jail, and we don't got any way to do that, right? To deal with it, if you will, right? Because we already know as soon as we deal with it, these people's families gonna go call police and all that stuff, and now we got 20 years to life because we're defending our nation,
Right.
right? You know, and that mentality that people have, that we were talking about this on live a couple of days ago. The mentality that our people have, of give traders passes. Let traitorous people still be hanging around and be allowed to congregate and call people up, hey, how you doing, or whatever like that. No, the traitors aren't supposed to get those type of treatment. You know. So like we said with one of the Moors was telling me about Akon doing a song with 6ix9ine or something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 6ix9ine's a snitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. Everybody knows he's a snitch. He knows he's a snitch.
Hmm.
And snitch is supposed to get stitches. You're not supposed to be doing albums with guys and all this type of stuff, doing songs with guys, remixing songs and all that. But this has become the norm with our people, right? The norm for our people is let the traders get a pass. Somebody sent me a video the other just today about we might be looking at this tomorrow or something for one of our live classes. One of these Moors brought Cornel West to the Moor Science Temple. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, but Cornel West is in the Moor Science Temple and he knows everything that's going on. He knows my nationality. He knows Noble Drew Ali. He's putting his hand on his chest, telling people Islam and all that type of stuff. But where was that? Where was that every other time we seen you? If it's that real that you're gonna go into the Moor Science Temple and you know Noble Drew Ali and all that, you know Marcus Garvey and all that stuff, then how come you're playing Harvard lawyer BS? Why aren't you talking up? Why are you playing civil rights when you know about nationality? You know what I mean? You know, that's traitorous behavior. But but if Moors are going to be taking pictures and using him to get photo ops or whatever like that, proves my point. That it's not just that it's package selling people. It's also people who aren't talking about this. Those ones are probably worse than the package seller people. The ones who know about this and they're not saying anything to the people. The ones who have Moorish names in the background. But when they go live and all that stuff, they're calling themselves some fiction. When they got nationality paperwork and they know about Noble Drew Ali and they know that we're not black people. Not because somebody told them, because they studied and they know what's up, but they refuse to talk about it. And then when Moors start talking about it, then everybody wants to debate Moors about, why Moors wearing a fez and all this.
Right. I think one of the things is that, in society, in order to be accepted, because that was one of the biggest things back in the slavery days, after the Emancipation Proclamation, that people wanted to be accepted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it still goes on today where we're trying to still find acceptance, even though we see that we live in a society that does not accept us. Mm-hmm. I mean, they can kill us, and people could kill us in the middle of the street in front of a crowd on camera and still get away with it. And we still want to be accepted. And for those of us that have made it, quote unquote, somewhere, we feel that if we tell the truth, that's why everybody was so afraid of Malcolm X. If we tell the truth, then we're going to be ostracized. Mm-hmm. We're going to be thrown out of society. We're going to be blackballed. Just like a celebrity, Monique. Mm-hmm. She was ostracized. She's blackballed. I mean, Hollywood has her strapped. I mean, she cannot build her career. Yeah. And people are afraid of that. They're afraid of not being accepted in this society. Just to go into your answer as to why people are so afraid to speak out, because society demands that you are a certain way, and they're going to play that. They call it playing the game.
Mm. Now, the other part of it too is, we go back again to Noble Drew Ali. Is it that they don't accept us, or is it that we're trying to force an uncivilized position on a civilized world and they don't accept it? Right? Is it really us, really? Or is it the things that we're doing that really have nothing to do with us that make people look at us funny? Because if, for example, like we said, if um if El Haj is gonna take some bullets for the truth, and then Martin's gonna take bullets for the truth, and Juali's gonna get assassinated for the truth, Marcus Garvey's gonna get deported for the truth, you know, um, whoever you name them, they're going to get whatever for the truth. That should inspire people to tell the truth. If we honor these people or whatever like that, and they died for some truth, were we going to stand for lies and think that ancestors are going to back us, or cowrie shells are going to work, or crystals are going to work, or whatever? This stuff's not working. If we're not, if we don't have any honor, if we don't have an integrity, stuff's not working. And we are a people that lack integrity. We are a people that lack honor. Going back to that same thing, because we have no nationality, so we have no standards. Certain people have standards. Japanese have standards. If they mess up, they pull out their knife, they kill themselves. That's their standard. What standard are we on? You know what I mean? You know, if their standard is, you know, the Congolese standard is swim across the river of alligators. If you make it to the other side, you're a man. Then what's our standard?
You know,
And if we think this little stuff that we're doing is something, then we have it so messed up.
I like that because I like what you said about that the Congolese swimming across the river with alligators, and if they make it, they're a man. Because one of the things that this society lacks is a rite of passage. You know, there's no rituals that we have to go through to, you know, to become a man, or to become something else, to become something worthy of ourselves. We grow up uneducated. I mean, here, I mean, we grow up with someone else's education and we embody someone else's mindset.
Yeah.
And that's really has been something that I've been thinking about, even for, you know, the small group that I hang around with, and we talk about this stuff. Okay, what are some of the things that we can start incorporating in our families, where, you know, our young men and our young women could have a rite of passage, could go through a rituals where they totally change their minds about who they are.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I want you to go into, as far as, because you went into it a little bit, as far as understanding, you know, what nationality is, understanding what the Moorish community is about, is through studying. But go into that a little more, of how you had to go through your rituals and your rite of passage to become who you are today.
Well, like for example, when in the islands, right? You want to learn to swim? They're not gonna take you to the neighborhood swimming pool, and you have the instructor and all that stuff. They say
You
we're
mean they
gonna
don't
go
have the
fishing.
lifeguards? No, nothing.
Oh no, oh no, none of that. They just say we're gonna go swimming, and then they take you on the boat, take you in the middle of the ocean, and throw you off the boat.
Nice.
Right? It's the rites of passage. Right? Are you a man? Right? Now, with regard to our people and where we're at, they look at rites of passage like um guy goes to join a gang, gets beat up, so these are rites of passage, or you know, whatever the situation is. But when we go check the Jews, they got their thing at 13.
Yeah.
We're going through rites of passage at you know what I mean, 19, 20, 21, 22. We're talking about rites of passage.
Yeah.
Talk to anybody else, who quote unquote has a nationality, 12, 13, they already know if they're a man or a woman or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So if they have that type of a jump start on us, no wonder we're so far behind.
Yeah.
They're a man of 12 and 13. Right?
Yeah.
Now, that's not the same as the forced thing that we go through where because we're the oldest, we're 7, and we have a brother that's 6, and a sister that's 5, and a brother that's 4, and a sister that's 2, and a sister that's 1, and then we're taking care of them.
Right.
While mom goes to work or dad goes to work or both of them got to go to work, and I'm the oldest, so I got to take care of everybody. That's not rites of passage.
Right.
That's a child losing their childhood.
Yeah.
That they're gonna exercise it when they're 19 and 20.
Yeah.
Which is destructive to society.
Right.
If you're supposed to be doing 19-year-old stuff, but you're doing 12-year-old stuff, we're gonna have problems when you get to 30. Serious problems that we're not gonna be able to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it starts with our one thing is our people not being afraid to let the children experience for real what this is. You know what I mean? Like there's people who their children go up on something, oh my God, don't do that, you can't do that or whatever. And then there's some people just let them do what they do. They're gonna fall and realize, oh yeah, I shouldn't have did that, or they're gonna master this thing and be flipping backwards and all that stuff at 2. Right? Now when you don't have a nationality, anything and everything that you do is for naught. Because no matter what rites of passage you go through, if nationality isn't something that's ingrained in you, like your blinking, your breathing, right? Like your senses, then there's definitely going to be issues later on. And we know that from looking at our people exercising without having a nationality. And it might seem like some type of taboo thing. Well, how come all the Moors, their answer is always nationality? Because that's the answer.
that's how come. Huh? That's the answer.
That's the only thing. We're like it. We got everything else. We could do 5 million push-ups. We could do all the dips in the world. We could shoot from here to wherever. We could do all that stuff.
Jump
You have
over the
no
moon.
right? Without nationality being the foundation, we are going to run into problems. Which is why Drew Ali even said, you know, I came for the young and unborn. I didn't come for you people around me. I didn't come for you guys. Like, I didn't come for you. You think I came for you. I didn't come for you. I came for the young and unborn. I came for the children, and I came for the people who are eventually going to be here, which is us now. Because we were unborn. We're born now. And we know about this information now. We're not Negro, black, colored. You know? So, you know, the father and mother who know that they're Moors and they instill this information in their children, they don't need rites of passage. Because them being Moors is going to be their rites of passage. Them on the bus with their friends or whatever like that, and their friends talking all this BS and they're shutting all their friends down with info is their rites of passage. You know, them seeing their mother, you know, put on her turban and all that stuff and go to the store, and then, you know, all these people are bowing to her and calling her queen and princess and all that stuff. That's a rites of passage.
Right.
Right. You know, them getting into some situation at school and their parent coming to school and backing them, not even backing these criminals called teachers or whatever. Right. who they know have programs against them and try to make them be dumb and dumb them down and, you know, keep them back a grade and all this stuff. When you know your child's intelligent, you know they got common sense, and you know there's no way that he did what they're talking about.
Right.
And then they go to the school and back them up. That's their rites of passage. Like, damn, my dad talked to the principal like that, and the principal yielded. The principal didn't give him, like how when Johnny's dad came to school and they kicked him out of school and arrested him and all that stuff. They didn't do that to my dad. Oh, this must be something. My dad's on to something. You know what I mean? You know, and that's really how they're gonna get it. You know, for example, like there's right, like this is my nieces made me this birthday card. Right, this is years ago, right? Yeah. And then that's how they drew me in the
nice. Nice. Nice.
Why would this stick? Why and all the other stuff that we did to me taking them to their baseball games and helping them swing the bat and all that stuff, and the thing that stuck was uncle wearing this hat or whatever. That's what stuck.
Right.
Then right?
Because it's an embodiment. It's something that you live and they see it. Because children know phonies when they see them. I mean,
off the top.
so when you live it, they gravitate towards. They know they know that uncle is real.
Yeah.
You know, this is who he is.
Who he is.
Yeah, he's not just wearing a hat, because you could have wore that affairs all day long for years, and they wouldn't have never seen it unless you embodied it.
And that's where that's how the paradigm is going to shift with our people into realms of, you know, the younger generations having something, being able to have something. You know, like we have you know, little Moorish brothers and sisters at our temple that when they get together with the other little Moors, they don't want to go home and all that stuff. Like, this is the best time ever. We don't want to go home. Why we gotta go home or whatever? Why can't we stay here all night and just be with our Moorish friends or whatever? I don't want to go deal with whatever else I got to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, there's something there that again we never got to experience as children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What does it mean to be a Moor as a child? I don't know, but we're definitely gonna let these children know.
Yeah.
This is what it means. Here's your fez. You know what I mean? They wear their fez religiously.
Yeah.
Running up and down, playing and all that stuff. They got their fez on.
And they could spot it when they see like a movie with somebody wearing a fez or something. They don't
stop spotting it. They see it more than the adult.
Yeah, they could spot it.
Let me tell the adult, hey, we just saw the fez on TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know, that's what truth does. Because we have to remember that you know, us having this information when we got it, we're late with it. So we shouldn't really be looking for a benefit, like we were talking about earlier with people wanting to get in this information so they can get something. You know what I mean? If we were supposed to get something from this, we would have it already. Obviously, this isn't for us.
Right.
So how about we give it to them?
Yeah.
And let them have an opportunity with it that we never had. And let's just see what they do with it. I don't know, I don't know what's gonna happen. But
here's another thing, Cujo. They're not afraid.
Oh, they're definitely not.
They have
Especially
no fear. They have no fear.
Especially with this information.
That's why I resonated with you when you were saying that this is not for us. It's for them.
Yeah.
So anytime, so that changed my whole paradigm about nationality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like I was telling you, I know I have fears, you know, because I work for our government, right? And very
Mm.
very high places, right?
Yeah.
And that for a long time, I would not touch this information
Yeah.
because I was scared. You
Right.
know, I was like, you know what? If I deal with this thing, these people gonna find out and they're gonna take my clearances away from me.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And when you said and Keith said the same thing. When you
Mm.
said that it's not for us, it's for them. And I see how brave our children are. They're not afraid to go down and burn down a building if you get them upset.
Yeah.
They don't care where it's at, what community it's at. They will burn that building down. They will tell you who they are. And that's when all of this nationality thing, it clicked for me. It made a lot of sense. Because one of your Moors said here, she said, I am Katisha said, I'm raising my 3-year-old as a Moor because he is. And could you imagine that
Can't even imagine.
kid at 12?
Can't even imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't even imagine.
but not only could you imagine him at 12,
Yeah.
she's setting him up to have generations of children with this
Yeah.
type of mindset.
And that's how you end the generational curses.
And that's how you end the generational curse. Not by praying about it, not by begging some God about it.
Yep.
But you by doing and being. By being. Because I think in reality, here's the rite of passage, the ritual that have stopped us for the longest is that we hate reading. We hate studying.
Yeah.
If there's a rite of passage, if there's a ritual that I can ask people to go through,
read
just start reading, start studying, start trying to sit down for 15 minutes and just read something for 15 minutes and then take it to 30, take it to 45, and then take it to an hour. Just sit there, because we don't like to sit. We like to constantly move. Our information attention span is like a gnat. It's like this, and we disengage. If we're not watching some type of television entertainment, we're not interested.
TV or something like that.
That's the rite of passage that I would like to see more of us get into, to start reading. It could be anything. Just start reading. You can read any book you want. Just start.
It's almost a loss.
Yourself to sit down and read instead of turning on the television, because you know all of the seasons in Power. You know all of those seasons. You know who this person, why he killed that person. I mean, it's amazing. When I go to work sometime, I hear these people talking about this movie like they produced it or they directed it, and they can't tell you one thing about who they are or where they're going in life. And then they have complaints with their children. Their children are acting all messed up. It's because you're messed up. Your children vibes from your energy. Who you are, they become. Let me get off my soapbox, man. I'm on Canaanland Boys channel. Let me get off my soapbox and let Cujo talk.
we let them have their soapbox on this channel. You're good, boy.
I could be here. I could talk to you all day.
You already know.
Yeah, man. Let's see what else these people got here, man. Because they've been dropping some big facts on this, man.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's going back to that thing that, once you start studying, then you eliminate the fear. And then once the fear is gone, then fear is the conqueror of all success in anything.
Mm-hmm.
Fear would cripple you to not being yourself. You know what I'm saying? So once you get the information and you lose that fear, then this becomes a lot easier. It's not that advanced, whatever, like that. And you're looking at that Taj video and you're holding your head like, what is he talking about and all this? You actually start realizing what it is being said. And and
Taj is not for the weak of heart, though.
oh, not at all, not at all, not at all.
He's not.
If you're not ready,
You can't just go and just start listening
yeah,
to him. You got to prepare yourself.
exactly. Exactly.
You gotta really it's almost like a consciousness, Cujo. It's like, I remember one day that I wasn't conscious, that I didn't care anything about this stuff, and then one day I did.
Yeah.
It
Just
just
like that.
something woke up inside of me. It's like, just like I said, it was asleep and it woke up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
But
thing is,
that's how you know.
Mhm. Go ahead.
That's how you know that this is not something from this life. This is not something that you just picked up a book and this is some interesting information to you. This is actually you returning to who you really were ancestrally.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like you like there's people that we say, how don't they get this? Because they weren't really they were never really this. You know what I mean? We look at it more like a reawakening more than an awakening. You're reawakening to who you really are. You know what I mean? The soul doesn't go anywhere. Soul just transfers shells.
Right.
So we were Moors in ancient times. We were those Moors with the castles and all that stuff. That's why it's so easy for us to just say, oh yeah, sure, I'm brown. I'm definitely not black or whatever.
Right.
Obviously I'm not black. Well then what am I if I'm not black or whatever? You know what I mean? And the only thing before slavery is 800 years of Moorish history. So how we ancient Egyptians and Cushites and all that stuff, but we're not Moors, which is right before slavery, that we're saying this is who we are. And we got to get back to ourselves or whatever like that. And then they skip over 800 years and go into some 15, 20,000 year history that really has no connection to this time continuum. Anybody care about no ancient Egyptians in 2020? We guarantee you bring up Moors, they can take you to Alhambra tomorrow. Bring up Moors, they can show you something and tell you something that the Moors did that you can relate in your lifetime.
You can use.
Yeah. Apply.
Yes.
You're not applying nothing from no walls of ancient Egypt right now. But I guarantee you get this law dictionary, crack that open, you can apply mad stuff from that right now. Save yourself and your family. Faster than some 42 laws of Ma'at or whatever.
Like you were saying that talking about the Black Law Dictionary, it's the same thing. I go back to it's the discipline of sitting down and reading words on a sheet of paper that's been very difficult for us. I want to show you something. If anybody, get your children this book right here. It's a great book by Heather Williams. Great book, and it's called Self-Taught. And this book is about our ancestors, how they used to be killed and how they used to have schools under trees, under big, huge trees and buried in the ground, how they used to have school with a little bit of wax candle to read a little clip from a newspaper, and they used to memorize that clip of that newspaper, and they would have their little, they would repeat it to their, you know, that story that you hear about ancient times when people used to memorize whole entire books or and pass it down to their children. Well, that was us. We just were taken out of the picture. But Dr. Williams here explains that, of how that came about. There was this one woman in there. She worked in the kitchen, and she just found a torn up piece of newspaper, and she had the whole little plantation learning their alphabets. The whole plantation knew their alphabets, thus knowing how to read. And if they were caught, they would be killed. So we lost that somehow. We lost that because someone wants you to think that we didn't learn how to read. We were never given books, which is true.
Yeah.
But we've always been scholars. We've always been the teachers. In every movie that you see a prince or something, there's a Moor somewhere around in that picture teaching him and guiding him. But you think it's a servant. He's not a servant, or she's not a servant.
Right.
She's the one that's guiding him. Even in Wonder Woman, you see the Moorish women are the biggest and the strongest warriors, because that's who Wonder Woman is a Moor. They changed it. Like these little subtleties, and I'm just bringing them up to show you that we were always scholars. So if you're afraid to look at the Black Law Dictionary, or you think it's like it's too complicated, the information is already in you. It's already part of you. You just have to remember it. You're not learning nothing new. You're remembering. Scientists have already proved it, that your brain evolves from your ancestors and this ancestor and that. It evolves. Like you're the best of the best of the best. And your brain is capable of understanding whatever you choose to understand. Not just rap music. Not just doing the dances. We do the most complicated dances in the world. But we can't read complicated books. That doesn't make sense. Because everything that you have to do, there's a part of your brain that takes that and be like, okay, I can learn this. I can remember this. And you just have to activate that part that says, I can study this. I don't have to be good at it. When you first rode a bike, you didn't know how to ride a bike. You fell, you scraped, but you still got up and you rode that bike. It's the same discipline. Don't be afraid to study those books. Just study. Just open it. Even set a routine every day. Just open it. Like I used to do. I used to just open it. Even I would go and sit at the same place at the same time every day. Even if I didn't want to read it, I would just open the book and look at it. And that's why now I can sit for 8 hours and just read.
Just read,
I just got to get up, use the restroom, eat, or whatever, and I could do it all day. I can marathon you in reading. I could do it all day. And my mother thought I was crazy when I used to do that. I'll read books this thick, starting from page 1 to page 2000 or 600 or 949, and just stay there reading it. Because not because I was trying to prove something, because I was trying to discipline myself to be able to read. Because people, and this is what got me started in my reading journey. I got an email one day, and the email was like, the email said, and most of you probably got the same email. The email read that if you want to hide something from a Moor, I'm going to use your terminology.
Put it in a book.
Put it in a book. And that got me so mad. And I was like, nah, that's not going to be me. That's y'all. That's not going to be me. And that's what got me. That's why I read so much today, because I never want to be part of that group. And just like Cujo said about the kids, once you awaken yourself to a new world, once that mindset change, you can't hang around the same people anymore. You can't sit in front of the TV and watch Power all day. You can't. Because it turns into nonsense. So what I'm saying is that you guys have the capability. If you're studying, you need to be studying more. Like Cujo said in the last on my channel, you got to be obsessed about this thing. And you got to know that you're not going to reach a destination. This is not a destination thing.
It's constant.
It's
constant elevation.
It's just
constant.
It's just constant. It's not gonna end. And that's the beauty of it, though. You're gonna be 90 years old without Alzheimer's, without dementia, because you've used this muscle so much. It's trained to stay healthy and young. Just like the 80-year-old man that Cujo was talking about that went into the temple, got there before everyone, because in his mind, he was already at the temple.
He was already there. He was there already with his walker.
He lives in the temple because he knows that he is the temple. He's just coming as a formality. Because he is the temple. Wherever he's at, that's the temple.
That's where the temple's at.
So don't be afraid to use this. It is, stop showing your bodies on Instagram and doing all this muscle stuff. Use this muscle. Show that. Because this is the thing that no one could take this away from him. Even if you die, your children, the people, your friends, your family will always remember that you had this.
Islam.
Let me get off my soapbox again before this thing, because we're gonna cut off. We're gonna cut off.
I think we're gonna cut soon. I don't know what I didn't even check the time when I
timer that's come on your screen. It's gonna say 2 minutes,
20 seconds or something like that. I don't get 2 minutes. I usually get 20 seconds or something like that. They don't give me no 2 minutes.
You're special.
I wish I got a 2 minutes.
You're special. You're special. So you get 20 seconds.
Is there anything you got to plug before we close out? Because I want to make sure you
go to I teach on leadership. That's what I'm about, on leadership, especially people that are in leadership positions in their family or at work, or entrepreneurs, businessmen. They want to know about leaders and leading teams. At Glastinne.
30 seconds. 30 seconds. Go ahead.
At Glastinne. That's at Glastinne. Cujo and I will do this again on YouTube. And one of these Sundays when we get together, and we'll just do this again, and we'll go deeper into nationality. That's it.
Islam. Peace and love to all the Moors. We'll connect tomorrow.